Hi there, my name's Adrian. Welcome to another blues rhythm guitar lesson, and in today's lesson we're going to be going a little bit jazz and looking at how a jazz player might approach playing the blues. The piece you heard me play at the start of the lesson was in the style of the great Freddie Green, a legendary rhythm guitar player who played for years with the Count Basie Orchestra, and his whole style was based on playing really solid 4 beats to the bar rhythm chords. Very rarely took a solo or anything like that. Now I want to point out first of all that when a jazz player plays the blues, they're not always going to be playing exactly the same chord changes as a more traditional blues player might do. Quite often in jazz they're going to be throwing in some extra chords, some substitutions to kind of spice things up harmonically and to make things a bit more challenging to improvise over. So let me take you through the chords changes involved in a typical jazz type of blues like the one I played at the start of the lesson. If we were to analyse it in terms of Roman numeral analysis, it would look something like this. Well, as you can see, it starts off the same way as our traditional quick change blues does. We've got the 1 chord for a bar, we've got the 4 chord for a bar, then 2 bars on the 1 chord, 2 bars on the 4 chord, then we're back to the 1 chord for a bar. Then it starts changing a little bit. We've got the 6th chord for a bar, then we come to the 2 chord, which is actually a minor 7 chord, then we've got the 5 chord, and for the last 2 bars we've got a little turnaround, what's known as a 1-6-2-5, just to turn everything around, a very typical jazz turnaround. So let's take a look at how these jazz blues chord changes translate onto the guitar. We're in the key of B flat today, which is a very typical jazz key, and let's just play through these changes with some very simple chord voicings. Let's start playing our B flat 7 like this, just a bar chord at the 6th fret. We've got a bar of that, that's the 1 chord. Then we'll change to the 4 chord, just using a 5th string root C shape voicing here. We've got a bar on the 4 chord. Then we're back to the 1 chord for a couple of bars. Got the 4 chord for 2 more bars. Back to the 1 chord. Then we're going up to our 6th chord, which in this case is a G7. We've got a bar of that. Then we've got the 2 chord for a bar. It's going to be a C minor 7. 5 chord, it's the F7. Then we're back to the 1 B flat 7, and we're going to do our 1-6-2-5, which is going to be B flat 7, G7, C minor 7, F7, 2 beats on each of those chords. So that's a very typical set of jazz blues chord changes. So now I want to talk about what I was playing at the start of the lesson, this Freddie Green style of accompaniment. And the trademark of his style was that he played quite minimally. He was just using 3 or sometimes 4 notes in each of his chords. So let me show you exactly what chord voicings I'm going to be using. This is actually quite strongly related to the previous lesson. We were talking about tritones. Here we're often going to be using the tritone, but we've got a root note added in the bass as well. So let me take you through the shapes. We need a B flat 7, and I'm going to be playing the B flat 7 like this. We've got our first finger playing the root note, the 6th fret on the 6th string. Then we've got our tritone. My second finger is playing the 6th fret on the 4th string. My third finger is playing the 7th fret on the 3rd string. So we've got our tritone plus a root. The 5th string there, I'm just going to be muting that with the underside of my first finger. So that's our 1 chord voicing. For the 4 chord, remember in the previous lesson we just moved that tritone down 1 fret, so we're going to do that, but here we're also going to be playing a bass note as well. So I'm playing the 6th fret on the 6th string, I'm playing the 5th fret on the 4th string, and I'm playing the 6th fret on the 3rd string. That's our 4 chord, that's our E flat 7 chord, and I've actually got a B flat in the bass, which is the 5th of E flat 7. So rather than doing that, I've just got the 5th in the bass, which just gives a bit of a fatter sound. It also means we've got the same bass note in common between those two chords, which means they link together very smoothly. So that's our 4 chord. We'll be back to the 1 chord for a couple of bars. 4 chord for a couple of bars, the same shape. Back to the 1 chord. Now for our 6 chord, we're going to be using the same voicing that we used for the 4 chord, but we're going to be moving it up here to the 9th position. This is a G7 voicing. I'm playing the 9th fret on the 4th string with my 1st finger, 10th fret on the 3rd string with my 3rd finger, and my 2nd finger is playing the 10th fret on the 6th string. So that's a G7. I say like with the E flat 7, it's got the 5th in the bass, so the D note there is the lowest note. That's our 6 chord. Now we want our 2 chord, our 2 minor 7, so we're going to play a C minor 7 like this. I'm playing the C root note, which is at the 8th fret on the 6th string. Then with my 2nd finger I'm playing the 8th fret on the 4th string, and with my 3rd finger I'm playing the 8th fret on the 3rd string. That's our C minor 7. Then we want our 5 chord, which is going to be an F7. This is the same voicing as the 4 and the 6th chord. I'm playing the 7th fret on the 4th string with my 1st finger, 8th fret on the 3rd string with my 3rd finger, and my 2nd finger is playing the 8th fret on the 6th string. That's our 5 chord, F7. Then we're back home to the 1 chord, and then we want our 1, 6, 2, 5, and that's using chords which we've already learned. So it's just going to be B flat 7, G7, C minor 7, F7, and we're back to the top. So let me play you through an entire chorus of that, and you can see how it sounds. Just mention about the rhythm of this. With this style of kind of swing jazz accompaniment, it's normal to play 4 sort of solid downward strums per bar. There's not much rhythmic variation in this particular style of jazz because it's all about just being very solid. So I'm just going to be playing 4 strums per bar. Usually a good idea to emphasize the 2 and the 4, the backbeat, just to make it swing a little bit harder. And I'm also probably just going to be releasing pressure with my left hand between each of those chord hits, just to give it a bit more of a vibe and a bit more of a swing. So let me take you through one 12-bar chorus of this, and you can see how it all fits together. We've got 1 chord, 4 chord, 1, 2, 4 chord. Now we've got the 6 chord, G7, 2, 5, 1, 6, 2, 5, and then we can take it round for another chorus. So that's the basics of this. I think at the start of the lesson I did play some variations on that during my 2nd chorus. You've got the option when you're changing to the 6th chord, instead of changing up to the G7 there, you could take our 1 chord down 3 frets and play our G7 chord like that, and then we could play our C minor 7 down at this end of the neck as well. I'm playing the 3rd fret on the 6th string with my 2nd finger, the 1st fret on the 4th string with my 1st finger, and the 3rd fret on the 3rd string with my 3rd finger. That's a C minor 7. And then you could change to an F7 like this. This is voiced like the 1 chord. We've got the 1st fret on the 6th string, 1st fret on the 4th string, and 2nd fret on the 3rd string. And you could do the turnaround using those same voicings. So it'd be 1, 6, 2, 5. So that's just another route through the last few bars of those 12. And that's about it for this lesson. Have fun with these jazz chord changes. As usual, check out the website where there'll be a bit more information about this lesson. There'll be a transcription of exactly what I played at the start of the lesson, and there'll also be a backing track that you can download, which is a really good way to get your timing and your feel together just by playing along with that. So have fun, and I'll see you for some more blues rhythm guitar very soon. Bye bye.